good to have you with us on this weekend edition of the Urban Debate. The big political story today, a big development in the state of Gujarat, where the Chief Minister Vijay Rupani resigned. His resignation comes a year before the state heads to elections. Now, the party has said that the next Chief Minister will be decided by the central leadership. Front runners for the post include Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavya, a leader from Gujarat. Also, the current Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel, one of the front runners. In the running is also the Gujarat BJP Chief C.R. Patil and three others currently part of the cabinet itself. Now, the big decision will probably come in today. We also understand that along with the BJP Parliamentary Board leaders, Amit Shah will also be in Gujarat tomorrow, or is likely to be in Gujarat tomorrow. The big story, of course, is how the BJP is swiftly moving to change the leadership wherever it suspects discontent. Discontent within the party, dissent and unhappiness within the state party leadership and amongst the people, largely in states which are either going to elections now or in the coming couple of years. So Vijay Rupani isn't the first one. Karnataka and Uttarakhand are the two other states that have seen a change of Chief Minister by the BJP. B.S. Yedurappa quit in July. Tirath Singh Rawat also resigned a few months ago. These are the big changes. Much was debated even about Yogi Adityanath, though he's managed to now hold on and probably be the big face for the party as they head into elections in Uttar Pradesh next year. But there's also trouble brewing in the leadership in Haryana. So we're going to talk about this strategy of the BJP, where, especially ahead of elections, they move in quickly and change the guard in a bid to do some damage control, and whether this will help them. I say good evening to Shraddha Rajput, spokesperson for the BJP in Gujarat, Mr. Atul Patil, spokesperson for the Congress party, and Aarti Jerath, senior journalist, also joining me right now. And in fact, I'm going to start off with you, Aarti. Though we know that for the last several months there was much trouble, dissent, murmurs about underperformance, COVID mismanagement in Gujarat for Vijay Rupani. Still, for many, this has come as a surprise that the party has moved in so quickly to remove him. What is your reading of this decision?
Tanvi, history is repeating itself in Gujarat. If you remember, in 2016, August, Anandiben Patel was asked to step down. And, after the Patidar agitation, when the, Patidars were out on the streets, there was a lot of turmoil in Gujarat. She was unable to handle it, unable to control it. And then finally, exactly 1 year and a few months before the polls, Anandiben Patel was replaced by Vijay Rupani. And now Vijay Rupani is being replaced by somebody else, almost around exactly the same time as Anandiben was replaced before the last polls. She went in August 2016. He's going in September 2021. So, clearly the BJP realizes that, Vijay Rupani is, has underperformed. His management of the COVID epidemic was very, very bad. The Gujarati papers were full of, pictures, stories about people dying. And, particularly in urban areas where the BJP's base is very strong, Surat, Vadodara, Ahmedabad, these were all cities that were very badly affected by COVID. And, to some extent, I think this is an attempt to deflect the blame from the center, because at the end of the day, the Home Minister and the Prime Minister come from Gujarat. And so, naturally, people know that, they take a personal interest in what happens in the state. So by getting rid of Rupani, they have deflected attention and blame from themselves. Mm-hmm. And they'll put somebody else in charge now, 1 year before the polls, and hopefully, get everything together and, be able to do some, damage control and so on.
Right.
What is very interesting, Tanvi, however, is the way this COVID pandemic has played out with the fortunes of two chief ministers. UP too
Yes.
was very badly mismanaged. And I mean, there's been a lot of dissent within the BJP. There were complaints about Yogi Adityanath's autocratic style of, functioning and so on and so forth. And if you remember, there was a lot of toing and froing between Delhi and Lucknow, Nagpur and Lucknow. And there was a lot of talk that Yogi Adityanath would have to be removed before the polls. But ultimately, the BJP blinked. And they blinked because Yogi Adityanath is a mass leader. He is a Hindutva mascot. And I think that they were worried that they would dent the Hindu appeal if they were to remove Yogi Adityanath. Rupani doesn't have any of that. He's not a mass leader. He doesn't have a base. He's a very lackluster, colorless politician. So, they can replace him, blame him for the mismanagement of COVID, and put in somebody else who will maybe manage things, who's an organizational man and will
Correct.
be able to manage the elections better for them next year.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And you said it. It's the difference in the two leaders and their political pull. And, governance is one aspect, yes, but what is your political pull also matters a lot when you're going into an election year. And perhaps that's where the different, reaction and different decision to Yogi Adityanath and Vijay Rupani. But let me also tell our viewers that, unlike what happened in Karnataka, where there was very vocal public dissent, where there were meetings taking place week after week, where the central leadership would fly down, give comments to the media. A lot of this back and forth that was taking place was extremely public before the final decision of Yediyurappa exiting. In case of Gujarat and Vijay Rupani, it was slightly different. Now, on August 15th, officially though, the party leadership said that Vijay Rupani will continue as their chief minister. And then in the last week, 10 days, there have been a series of meetings, most of them kept under the wraps, quiet meetings. In fact, we're given to understand that Amit Shah himself was in Ahmedabad on September 9th. At that time, the BJP said, no, it's just a personal visit that is taking place. So a series of these meetings that were kept under wraps, led by Bhupendra Yadav and BL Santosh, the central leadership also involved. And now this resignation coming in. How do we read this? Let's get a little honest and realistic about it. That is the whole point, Shraddha Rajput. Vijay Rupani may say that he wants to serve the party, but let's get realistic about why he is being replaced.
Then we are very realistic about our views. Our party is very realistic about each and every views. We are the party with the difference. We have a volunteers. We have the true leadership quality. And see, who will be the chief minister or who will be the next leader, it will be decided by the National Parliamentary Board because we are the very cadre-based party. If I am saying about the management which is done by the Vijay Rupani ji in last 5 years, it is a tremendous. He has done a very good decisions for the Gujarat, and we have seen the great results in Gujarat as well. Whatever the things are right now is going on, it's decided by the party Ala Kaman, and they will decide what will do the next in life. Here we are working. We are the largest party in the world. We are a cadre-based party. We have a great sangathan in Gujarat, and you see it in the last 25 years. Gujarati people have voted us and give us the opportunity to work for the development. And we work very closely in the Gujarat for the development. We will seeking the blessings again for the Gujarati people, and definitely in 2022, we will get the blessings of the Gujarati people to again serve Gujarat for the betterment of the Gujarat. See, right now, what is the political scenario is going on? Is it up to the national prerogative? It's not my prerogative. And we believe the way our national president told us, JP Nadda ji, that it is a relay run. One, the relay is going to be complete. Another fellow is giving relay to the another man.
But tell me this, Shraddha, why is this relay's timing not matching with when people are choosing your leader? If the people are going to judge a chief minister's performance, if the people are going to judge a government and a party's performance, why doesn't your party wait for that in Gujarat? Before that, why do you change the chief minister?
See, Tanvi, it is, see, we are the parties of volunteers. We are not the party which is coming from any kind of family. Only one particular family is not running our party, or not one particular people are running our party. We do have the great leadership. We do have the great karyakartas, volunteers in our party. And our party is giving us the responsibility. It is not like that, I am the best, that's why I am getting the responsibility. According to time and situation, maybe that karyakarta is matching with that kind of the responsibility. Party and the thought process is already going on and on. So see, we basically, whether we are whether prime ministers are or chief ministers are, we all are karyakartas. Okay, whatever the role and responsibility is given by the party, it is according to time and according to need of that area. So see, right now party has decided something. It is a betterment of the Gujarat. And see, our honorable respected chief minister is ready to work in the Sangathan as well as, and we are going to work together for the 2022.
No, of course. I mean, chief minister, somebody who's not going to continue as a chief minister.
Medical profession see our digits in the vaccination. We have given more than 4 crore doses in vaccination in the Gujarat. We are in a second. In entire country, Gujarat is coming second number. If it is we are talking about the vaccination.
No, Shraddha Rajput, sorry, 1 minute, please. If you are a medical expert, then you would know that the vaccine policy is centrally managed. You will be able to do as many vaccinations, as many vaccines are given to you by the central government. There is nothing more or less that the state can do, unless you are now telling me that there are other state governments who are sitting on stocks and not vaccinating people, which is obviously not true. Now, UP is racing ahead. Why? Because UP has also elections to be held early next year. They would want people to be vaccinated. The centre is giving them those vaccines. It's the most populous state in our country, and they're racing ahead with that vaccine number. So, I don't think anybody in your state is going to give credit to Chief Minister Rupani for that. Let me just bring in Atul Patil also on this. Mr. Atul Patil, it seems that Congress is not the only one that is facing state leadership crisis or problems within the state. But unlike the Congress party, the BJP moves quickly to implement a better strategy and put somebody else in charge.
Yeah, my party is ruled by a group of people. My party has democracy in it, and that is why we have discussions. We respect the dissent, and not within the party. We also respect democracy outside the party also, and that is the basic difference. Basically, whatever is happening.
Different? I didn't understand. Your party is ruled by a group of people, except that they are all from the same family.
No. Basically, you just need to understand that we have a process of taking collective decisions.
You don't take decisions. That's the problem. Your party leadership, state after state, is in a crisis. The BJP doesn't waste time in replacing the leaders if there's a problem.
No. Tanvi, this is not like that. What the way you are thinking, the way other people are thinking. Aarti ji is laughing at this, but the reality is why people are raising voices in our party, because we have a democracy. Okay. Why people reach to our leadership only because they listen to their voices. What exactly in BJP, it is opposite to that. They have an autocrat who tells people in BJP that you have get elected only because of me. I am there, that is why you have got elected. And for last 1 year, the failure of COVID handling, pandemic handling has been the system is being held responsible for the failure of the COVID. और अभी हमें पता चला है कि ये सिस्टम क्या है. ये सिस्टम वो है कि जो असफलता इस देश के प्रधान जो असफलता है वो असफलता सीएम की होती है इस देश के. श्रद्धा जी, प्लीज हैव पेशेंस एंड हैव पेशेंस टू लिसन टू अदर्स आल्सो. आई हैव लिसनड यू वेरी पेशेंटली. तो आपने जो बताया, हमने महाराष्ट्र में 10 लाख के ऊपर एक दिन में वैक्सीनेशन किया और हम नंबर 1 पे है पॉपुलेशन और परसेंटेज के हिसाब से निकाले जाए. बहुत बढ़िया रहा. झूठ नहीं बोले. चिमनियां जली नहीं हमारे यहाँ शमशान घाट की चिमनियां जली नहीं. हमारे यहाँ किसी बच्चे को ये नहीं बताया गया है कि आपके पेरेंट्स को जला दिया गया है. आपके पेरेंट्स का अंतिम संस्कार आपके पेरेंट्स का अंतिम संस्कार हो गया है और हो गया है, ये नहीं देखा गया है हमारे स्टेट में गंगा में
One minute, Shraddha, may I just come in here? I will give you a chance to respond and counter all of Atul's points, but let him finish, please. ऐसे दोनों की बात मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगी. Yes.
नहीं ऐसा है, जब सच कोई बोलने लगता है तो बीजेपी तिल मिला उठती है। ये फैमिली की बात करते हैं, मैं आरएसएस की बात करूंगा। आरती जी ने कहा वहाँ फैमिली है, जब वो पैदा नहीं करते, जब वो जन्म नहीं दे सकते, जब वो जन्म नहीं दे सकते तो विचारधारा से लोगों को रोबोट बनाते हैं, वही वहां पर बड़ी पद पे पहुंच सकता है। ये तो मैं नागपुर में बैठता हूँ, मैं नागपुर में ज्यादा अच्छे से जानता हूँ।
Do you have any विचारधारा
श्रद्धा जी को बोलने दीजिए, फिर मैं बाद में बात करूंगा। ऐसे बदतमीजी से चर्चा नहीं हो सकती, उनको बात करने दीजिए, फिर बाद में मैं बात करूंगा।
Okay, let Atul finish, please. Atul Patil, please finish your point. Yes.
अभी ऐसा है कि we were searching for that system which was held responsible for mismanagement in COVID. Now we came to know, now we understand what is system. The system is the person, the system is the Karyakarta of the BJP who can be removed from his post for the failure which was committed by Amit Shah and Modi ji. They're the only two people who take the decisions. In BJP, no other person, not even a JP Nadda is in a position to take decision. ये सच्चाई है बीजेपी की, और ये छुपाते हैं। ये फैमिली की बात करते हैं, मैं आरएसएस की बात बताऊंगा। क्यों आरएसएस की चौकट पे जाना पड़ता है? क्या संबंध है आरएसएस का और बीजेपी का? क्या गंगा में लाशें भाई, इसका क्या जवाब देंगे आप? गुजरात में चिमनियां जल गई, इतनी लाशें जलानी पड़ी कि गुजरात में शमशान की चिमनियां जल गई। गुजरात के चीफ मिनिस्टर को एक मिनट रुक जाइए, नंबर छप के आता है और सुनिए, चीफ मिनिस्टर का दोस्त वेंटिलेटर बनाता है जो फेल हो जाते हैं, जिसकी वजह से लोगों की जानें चली जाती है। ये सारी स्टोरियां मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ, ये सारी स्टोरियां वहां के अखबार कह रहे हैं। वहां के अखबार सारी सच्चाई बता रही है, वहां के लोग सारी सच्चाई बता रहे हैं। और ये लोगों को जो हटाया जा रहा है, उनको डिसीजन मेकिंग में वो कहाँ थे? वेयर वेर दे? इट वॉज ओनली मोदी एंड शाह हु यूज्ड टू टेक अ डिसीजन। अब ये उनके दूसरे के सर पे मढ़ा जा रहा है, जो असफलता है दूसरे के सर पे मढ़ी जा रही है, और ये है, इसका नाम है सिस्टम। ये जो सिस्टम है अभी पता चल रही है, इसमें असफलता मोदी शाह की और खामियाजा भुगतना पड़ता है गरीब मुख्यमंत्रियों को। योगी को हटा नहीं सकते क्योंकि इनको हिंदुत्व के नाम पे, धर्मांधता के नाम पे चुनाव लड़ना है।
पॉइंट एक, अगर आप पूरा शो में बात कर लेंगे तो बाकी लोग कब बोलेंगे?
मुझे तो बात ही नहीं करनी।
श्रद्धा राजपूत कैन रिस्पॉन्ड, लेकिन ये बात है, एंड श्रद्धा राजपूत, दिस कैनॉट बी डिनाइड. Across the country in many states, the second wave has left people scarred, has left people angry, and a lot of that anger is towards BJP governments, especially in places where in the state and the center it's the BJP itself. That is what many say is the reason for change in states like Gujarat.
See, Tanvi, first wave and second wave both are totally different.
Yeah.
See, whatever the
लीजिए, अभी श्रद्धा की बारी आई तो नेटवर्क ही चला गया. ओके, वी आर गोइंग टू कम बैक टू श्रद्धा राजपूत इन जस्ट अ बिट, बट आरती जयराथ, देयर सीम्स टू बी नाउ दिस understanding, at least also within the central leadership, that there is discontent and anger amongst people from Uttar Pradesh to Gujarat to several other states. Their way of handling it may be different, but in states like Gujarat, will it be fair to say that Vijay Rupani has been made accountable for it and blamed for it?
Yes, absolutely. His removal is a sign that the center is trying to deflect any blame that could be put on Modi and Shah because they are from Gujarat, and they are trying to put it onto Rupani. And now it's really amazing how they're trying to say that, oh, the management was superb and they handled it really well, when everybody knows the entire local media in March and April and May was full of stories about the mismanagement, pictures about funeral pyres burning. There was an investigation by a prominent newspaper in which they compared the official death toll announced by the Gujarat government and the number of death certificates that were actually issued by the municipalities. And there was a huge mismatch in those figures. And if you remember, subsequently, that media house was raided, for supposed tax, evasion and so on and so forth. So, I'm sorry, I think that there is a lot of anger and they have to put the blame on somebody. Rupani is a very easy scapegoat for that, because he's a weak chief minister, unlike Yogi Adityanath. and I mean, it's really funny. I find it so ironic the way COVID has played out, because here you blame Rupani to deflect attention from, the center. And there in UP, you have decided that, Yogi Adityanath is going to carry the can. So if he wins the elections, you'll say he handled COVID really well. If he loses the elections, you'll say it's because he mishandled COVID. It's just amazing. I mean, the irony of how this, this thing is playing out in these two states.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And like you said, right in your first opening remarks, there is also to do with what it is that Yogi Adityanath can pull versus Vijay Rupani. Plus, when it comes to Gujarat, I think there's been a larger problem since Narendra Modi and Amit Shah moved to central politics and central leadership. Nobody's been able to really fill that gap. And there's a lot of squabbling between leaders, which continues, and they've not managed to find that one leader. If I had to ask you, Shraddha Rajput, who's that one leader? आज भी जितनी comments आई गुजरात से, वो सब इसी चीज पे थे कि नरेंद्र मोदी की leadership में ये करेंगे और वो करेंगे. Where is the state leadership?
तन्वी, नरेंद्र मोदी जी एंड गुजरात, उन दोनों का रिलेशन ऐसा है कि जो आप गुजरात में जब आएंगे तो आप फील करेंगे. वो एक ऐसा रिलेशनशिप है, एक ऐसा बॉन्ड है जो दिल से यहाँ के लोगों का है, जो कभी टूट ही नहीं सकता नरेंद्र मोदी जी से. एक वो दिल का रिश्ता है, ठीक है. वो समझने के लिए आपको गुजरात आना पड़ेगा. आई एम वेलकमिंग यू इन गुजरात टू सी दैट. ओके, सी, we do have a great leader. Narendra Modi we have an iconic leader. We have a leader who has an international quality. That is not our fault. If our opposition don't know how to play a game, that is our opposition's weakness. It is not the weakness of as a ruling party. See, first of all, I want to clear in the politics. अगर उनको खेलते नहीं आता, उनको अगर अपनी तरीके से अपने मुद्दों को लोगों के बीच में, they don't know how to raise the topics in a democracy, it is their failure. It is not our failure. We are here to commit. हम लोग ने commit किया है कि अगर हमको कुछ काम करना है, our government has to work, our central government has to work, or our state government has to work. We are working on that. See, we are the party with the volunteers. We are the party with the leaders. We do have the leaders. We do have the volunteers in our party. We are the largest party. Okay. We are not coming from the one particular family. See, we have a leadership quality who take the decisions. See, we are not the Sonia Gandhi के last 20 years से एक ही राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्षा हो. Here in a Gujarat, see Tanvi, I am saying you, Amit Chavda, I don't know what is the status right now. Who is the party president Congress in Gujarat? If Patil ji tell me, Atul ji tell me who is the party president here in a Gujarat, who is the Congress party president, he doesn't know, because Amit Chavda ji put a resign long back. स्थानिक स्वराज जो local elections हुए थे, क्या है कांग्रेस का कंडीशन? तन्वी जी, अल्टीमेटली पीपल विल गिव यू अ रिजल्ट इन इलेक्शंस.
ओके, आपने एक पॉइंट उठाया वीक ऑपोजिशन के ऊपर. आपने एक पॉइंट,
स्टेटस ऑफ अमित चावड़ा हु इज द पार्टी प्रेसिडेंट.
राइट. No, Atul Londe Patil should answer that. Amit Chavda, we are given to understand already on his way to the national capital to meet the party leadership there. What is his status? And the fact is, जो श्रद्धा जी बोल रही हैं कि अगर opposition को opportunity utilize करनी नहीं आती, so that's not our problem. Last election, Atul Patil, last election, you came pretty close in Gujarat. And a lot of that had to do with the Patidar community, which seems to still be angry with Shraddha. Let me please go to the Congress party and ask my question. The Patidar community seems to still be angry with the BJP. But if they change the chief minister now and get in a Patidar, then what is your strategy going to be, Atul?
Tanvi, I hope Shraddha ji will listen to me calm and quietly. And she also respects the culture of debate. एक बात आप ध्यान में रखिए, अमित चावड़ा जी ने रेसिग्नेशन दिया लेकिन हमने एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया है. अमित चावड़ा जी वहाँ पे प्रेसिडेंट है. हमारी अभी प्रेसिडेंट है सोनिया जी. हम जब समय आएगा हम हमारी प्रेसिडेंट चुनेंगे, लेकिन कम से कम हमारे यहाँ डिसीजन हमारी प्रेसिडेंट लेती है. ऐसा तो नहीं है हमारे यहाँ की नड्डा जी जो प्रेसिडेंट है वो नाम के लिए एक पपेट प्रेसिडेंट है, जिनको बाजू हटा के अमित शाह जी आगे जाते हैं और नाम जो है वो सिर्फ 2 का होता है. तो पपेटरी प्रेसिडेंट जो है वो हमारे पार्टी में नहीं है. जहाँ तक कि फैमिली की बात उठाते हैं तो इनके यहाँ आरएसएस के बिना कुछ होता नहीं है. आरएसएस जन्म नहीं देती है किसी को, लेकिन आरएसएस फैमिली है जो रोबोट पैदा करती है.
ठीक है, वो आपने पॉइंट बोल दिया.
तीसरी बात तीसरी बात ऐसा है कि स्टैटिस्टिक्स किस तरह से रखते हो उसके ऊपर एनालिसिस जाता है। मैं कह दूं हमने राजस्थान जीता, हमने मध्य प्रदेश जीता, हमने कर्नाटक जीता, हमने गोवा जीता, हम महाराष्ट्र में हमारी सरकार है, हमने छत्तीसगढ़ 3/4 मेजोरिटी से जीता, हमने आसाम में हमारे मेघालय में हमारे सबसे ज्यादा एमएलएस थे, हमारे नागालैंड में सबसे ज्यादा एमएलएस थे। तो आपको पूरा पिक्चर ध्यान में आएगा कि विजय की पोजीशन क्या है। साउथ स्टेट में जाइए आप, आंध्र में कहाँ है, तेलंगाना में कहाँ है, तमिलनाडु में कहाँ है, केरला में
अतुल
कहाँ है।
पाटिल जी, आई एम शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम, आई एम सॉरी, आई हैव टू कम इन हियर। आप जो बोल रहे हैं वो सही है, लेकिन ये भी सच्चाई है that you lost out on Madhya Pradesh, you lost out on Madhya Pradesh, you lost out on Karnataka, you lost out on Goa, you almost came close in Gujarat but still couldn't win. In states like Maharashtra, you're pretty much there because of your allies. That's also something to think about. That's not the point of the conversation. Tonight, it is about how BJP has moved in just a few months to replace another chief minister. Uttarakhand, Karnataka, and now Gujarat, a new chief minister being put in place ahead of elections. This party thinks ahead and is looking at problems and making the chief ministers accountable, or at least putting the blame on them in the hope that it doesn't become an issue until the elections come about and they're able to move on. But the fact that in many of these states voices are speaking up, there is dissent, there is division within the leadership, is perhaps also going to become a problem for the BJP central leadership. Thank you to all of our panelists for joining us on this conversation.